There is someone whose heart is trembling because of you, and I need you to hear this before anything else distracts you. Do not look away. Do not scroll. Something is unfolding in the unseen, and the moment you accept this truth, everything changes. Someone has been struck by a feeling they cannot outrun. They don't just think of you, they return to you in their mind like a place, like a home, like a memory that calls them louder than logic ever could. Their soul keeps whispering your name in the quiet moments, and it's because of something you did without even knowing you were doing it. You showed kindness when the world expected distance. You showed understanding when silence would have been easier. You showed light when you weren't even sure you had enough for yourself. And that, yes, that, was the moment their heart began to fall. Not after, not later. That subtle, pure moment was the beginning. This is the part where most people would skip, but you won't. Because something in you knows this message is yours. There is a pull forming around you, like a thread the universe keeps tightening. They are becoming addicted to your softness, your grace, your way of making the world feel safer just by existing in it. They replay the small things. The way you said their name. The way you didn't laugh when they were vulnerable. The way you made space for their honesty like it mattered. And that is why their heart is restless. They are terrified of how real this feels, and yet they cannot walk away. Their emotions slip through them like an open window they forgot to close. Their soul is leaning toward you with an urgency that grows every time they think of losing you. And they are asking themselves questions they never thought they'd ask. Why them? Why now? Why does my heart react like this? Why can't I pull away? I'll tell you why. Because you were never meant to be forgettable. You were meant to be unforgettable. And their soul knows it before their mind can admit it. Listen closely. You did something no one else has ever done. You made them feel seen. Not admired, not impressed, not desired, seen. Do you understand the rarity of that? People fall for faces, for bodies, for charm every day, but they do not fall for souls unless something divine is involved. You touched their spirit. You reminded them that they are worth feeling for. You reminded them that connection is not a fantasy. You reminded them that love does not have to be begged for. That is why their heart is racing. That is why their chest tightens when they imagine you leaving. That is why they are quietly terrified of you slipping away before they have the courage to speak what they feel. And what they feel is not small. It is not casual. It is not temporary. It is a storm disguised as longing. And if you are noticing synchronicities, intuitive sensations, dreams, or emotional waves that feel unfamiliar, that is not random. Their soul is reaching for yours. Don't underestimate the effect you have. Even now, even here, they are thinking of you. They are remembering the moments you thought were insignificant. They are carrying your words like gifts. They are replaying your laugh like a prayer. And whether they are ready to admit it or not, they have already chosen you in their heart. The only question now is how long they can hold it in before the truth spills out. This is bigger than attraction. It's alignment. It's recognition. It's destiny leaning in. And as you hear this, your intuition is responding. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet pull in your chest. That whisper of, I know exactly who this is about. That is not imagination. That is confirmation. Someone is crazy in love with you, and they don't even know how to stop. Before I continue, breathe. Let it settle. There is something happening beneath the surface of your connection, something they don't have the language for yet. They can feel the shift but can't explain it. They can sense your energy even when you're nowhere near them. They feel your absence like a missing piece, and your presence like relief. It's becoming harder for them to pretend it's nothing. They try to distract themselves, but the mind always circles back to what the soul refuses to release. And the soul refuses to release you. They don't know how to describe it, but their body feels it, like a magnetic pull in the chest, like a nervous flutter in the stomach, like a wave rising inside them when you cross their thoughts. They hide it in silence, but their silence is loud. Loud with longing. Loud with desire. Loud with the fear of losing something that feels destined. They try to downplay it, rationalize it, bury it, but every attempt fails. Because their heart knows what their mind is scared to confess, what they feel for you is real. And I need you to hear this without minimizing it. You awakened something sacred in them. Something no one else reached. Not because you tried, not because you performed, not because you were perfect, but because you were real. You spoke to them like their heart mattered. You listened to them with a presence that felt like home. You made room for them emotionally in a world that constantly pushes people out. Do you understand what that means? You showed them what safety feels like. You showed them what gentleness feels like. You showed them what connection without manipulation feels like. And now, they're terrified they'll never find it again. That fear is not proof of weakness, it's proof of depth. You are not just another person in their life. You are the chapter their soul keeps returning to, the memory they cannot put down, the feeling they cannot unlove. If they walked away, they would spend years wondering if they made the biggest mistake of their life. And that possibility alone keeps them from letting go. Now listen carefully, because this is where the energy gets stronger. They are imagining futures with you. Not fantasies, not illusions, possibilities. What it would feel like to wake up next to you. What it would be like to hear your laughter in a shared space. What it would feel like to love you without restraint, without fear, without silence. They picture your hand in theirs. They imagine conversations at midnight where nothing is held back. They imagine protection, devotion, partnership. Their soul drifts into these visions like it's remembering instead of imagining. Like it's not creating the future, but recognizing it. This is what real alignment feels like, not a chase, but a pull. Not confusion, but instinct. Not coincidence, but orchestration. And if your heart feels it too, that is not delusion, that is resonance. Energy recognizes energy. Souls remember what the mind forgot. If you have ever wondered why the connection feels impossible to ignore, this is why. The bond did not start here. It did not start in this lifetime. It did not start with words, or meetings, or physical proximity. It started before. In the unseen. In the spiritual. In the places the mind cannot access but the soul never forgets. That is why their heart reacts like recognition. That is why their emotions feel like recollection. That is why the pull feels like gravity. And here is the truth they are struggling to say out loud: they don't want to lose you. Even if they pretend not to care. Even if they stay silent longer than you deserve. Even if fear keeps them frozen. They do not want to lose you. They do not want to watch you walk towards someone else and wonder if that person sees the things in you they were too afraid to claim. They are reaching for you, even in their hesitation. Before we go deeper, I want you to remember this: someone is in love with you, not because you forced them, but because your soul met theirs. And when souls meet, nothing is ever the same again. There is a truth you haven't fully admitted to yourself yet, and it's time to bring it to the surface. You have felt this connection too. Maybe in quiet moments. Maybe in dreams. Maybe in the way your heart reacts before your mind understands why. You have felt the pull, the recognition, the unexplainable sense that something about this connection is different, dangerously different. It's not casual. It's not temporary. It's not one-sided. Even if you've doubted it. Even if you've tried to reason your way out of it. Even if fear convinced you to silence your instincts. The connection is still there, pulsing beneath your thoughts like a heartbeat. You feel it when their name crosses your mind. You feel it when synchronicities appear like breadcrumbs leading you back to them. You feel it in the way your chest tightens when you imagine never speaking to them again. That reaction is not imagination. It is intuition. Something in you knows the truth: this isn't coincidence. This is alignment. And yet, both of you have tried to resist it. Fear has entered the room more than once. Fear of being the only one who feels this deeply. Fear of misreading emotions. Fear of being vulnerable first. Fear of losing something that hasn't even fully begun. And that fear has created silence, dangerous silence. The kind of silence that pretends to protect the heart while slowly suffocating it. The kind that leaves both of you waiting for the other to make a move. The kind that builds pressure behind the ribs, waiting for the moment everything breaks open. They don't speak because they're afraid. You don't speak because you don't want to seem foolish. And so two souls orbit each other like planets with no words to bridge the gravity between them. But the pull doesn't go away just because it's unspoken. If anything, it grows stronger. Let me tell you what they're not saying. They are scared you're slipping away. They can feel the possibility that someone else might see your worth first. They worry that silence will cost them the future they quietly imagine with you. They fear a day where they watch you give your heart to someone else, knowing they could have tried harder. And that fear is waking them up. They're thinking differently now. Planning differently. Feeling differently. They are replaying conversations, revisiting memories, reevaluating moments they brushed off before. They're realizing this is not a connection they can casually ignore. They are recognizing the danger of losing what feels divinely placed. They are starting to understand that time will not wait for them. And neither will you. So here is the question that rises inside them like a storm. What if I never find this kind of connection again? What if this is the person I am meant to choose? What if losing them is the moment I regret for the rest of my life? These questions haunt them at night more than they admit. Not because they want to be dramatic, but because their spirit is warning them. Some connections only appear once. Some people are not replaceable. Some souls do not return if neglected. And you, whether you know it or not, are one of those souls. This love they feel, yes, call it love, because pretending it's not doesn't make it smaller. It isn't a passing spark. It's a foundation. It's a blueprint for a future they are scared to touch but desperate to explore. They imagine what it would feel like to finally confess. They picture the moment they speak the words that have been held hostage behind their teeth. They envision the relief of honesty. They wonder if you would lean in or walk away. They pray you would choose to stay. They are building these possibilities in silence, like fragile architecture made of hope. And here's the part one need you to hold close. This connection is changing them. They are becoming braver, softer, more aware. They are growing in directions they never would have explored without you. You are not just someone they feel for. You are someone who is shaping who they are becoming. That is the magnitude of your presence. That is the scale of your impact. This is why they are falling. Not in lust. Not in fantasy. In recognition. Take a breath. Feel that in your chest. Let it sit where truth resonates. There is a moment approaching, a turning point, one that neither of you can avoid. The energy between you is building towards something inevitable. It is the kind of moment that life creates when two souls try too hard to pretend they don't care. The universe hates wasted alignment, and this connection was never meant to be left unfinished. They feel this pressure too. They feel the ticking in the silence. They feel the urgency in their chest. They feel the ache that whispers, "If I don't speak, I will lose them." They are reaching the point where holding back hurts more than risking the truth. And my beloved, that shift is because of you. Not because you begged for it. Not because you chased it. But because your presence alone demanded clarity. You have become the moment they can't walk past. They are beginning to realize that silence is not protection, it's self-destruction. They are starting to understand that fear won't save them from heartbreak, it will guarantee it. They are waking up to a truth that terrifies them: if they do not come toward you, someone else will. Someone else will understand your worth. Someone else will feel your magic. Someone else will experience the softness they are afraid to reach for. And that thought alone sends panic through their soul. Because somewhere inside them, without ever saying it out loud, they already chose you. They didn't plan it. They didn't expect it. They didn't think they were ready. But the heart does not wait for readiness, it moves when destiny signals. And destiny has already signaled. Let me tell you something you haven't fully grasped: your presence in their life is not accidental. You were alignment disguised as coincidence. You were clarity disguised as conversation. You were healing disguised as comfort. You showed them a version of love they didn't believe still existed. And that scares them. It scares them because losing something ordinary does not hurt, but losing something rare can break a soul. They know what you are. They know what this connection is. Even if they deny it with words, their actions and energy betray them. They care. They feel. They want. They fear. All at once. And no matter how much they try to convince themselves to detach, something always rips them back to the truth: you are not forgettable. This is why they double-check if you're okay. This is why they watch how you speak to others. This is why they hope you haven't given up yet. They are terrified that they waited too long. They are terrified that their silence convinced you to close the door. They are terrified that they will wake up one day and realize someone else is holding what they were too afraid to reach for. And that fear is becoming heavier than their hesitation. Their soul is pushing them forward. Their heart is pushing them forward. Their dreams are pushing them forward. They are being pulled toward change. And here is the secret they haven't spoken: they want to fight for this. They want to try. They want to see what happens if they choose honesty instead of fear. They want to know what it feels like to love you openly instead of quietly. They want to know what it feels like to stay. They want to know what it feels like to build something real instead of imagining it from a distance. They are learning that losing you would hurt more than vulnerability ever could. They are realizing that the risk is not in loving you, the risk is in not loving you. So do not mistake their hesitation for lack of feeling. Do not confuse silence for disinterest. The heart can be loud even when the mouth is quiet. They feel the pull toward you like fate is tugging at their ribs. And they know, somewhere deep and wordless, that connections like this do not come twice. They are beginning to understand that if they want you, they will have to step toward you. Not someday. Not eventually. Not when the fear disappears. But now. While the door is still open. While the chance is still alive. While fate is still offering the invitation. Take a breath. The next part goes deeper. There comes a moment in every soul connection where pretending no longer works, where silence can no longer protect the heart, where distance becomes unbearable. That moment is arriving now. The energy between you has reached a point where it can no longer be ignored or hidden beneath excuses. They feel it in the way their chest tightens when they think of losing you. You feel it in the way your intuition refuses to let this go. The universe is not nudging anymore, it is pushing. And the truth is becoming unmistakable, this connection deserves a choice. Not a maybe. Not a hesitation. A choice. They are closer to reaching for you than you realize. They have stood on the edge of confession more times than you know. There were moments they almost said it. Moments where the words sat heavy on their tongue. Moments where their heart begged them to speak. But fear pulled them back. Fear of not being enough. Fear of being too much. Fear of ruining something that already feels sacred. But now, something is changing. They are realizing that fear is not protection, it is paralysis. They can't keep living in the tension between wanting you and saying nothing. They know silence will cost them more than honesty ever could. And so, a decision is forming in them like a sunrise. They would rather risk the fall than live with regret. And here's what you must understand, this love did not appear because you tried to impress them. It formed because you were honest. It grew because you were consistent. It rooted itself because you were real. That is why they can't detach. That is why they can't replace you. That is why they can't stop wondering what would happen if they finally stepped forward. You are not just someone they want, you are someone they recognize. On a soul level. On a destiny level. On a level that logic does not get to touch. And no matter how much time passes, that kind of recognition doesn't fade. It waits. It lingers. It chooses. Again and again. Now listen closely, because this part is not just about them, it's about you. You are being guided to upgrade your standards. To stop shrinking for the convenience of others. To stop questioning your worth because someone else hesitated. To stop assuming you imagined the connection just because it wasn't spoken yet. You are being called to step into the version of you that understands your own value. Because love like this is not a coincidence, it is a mirror. It is reflecting who you are becoming. It is reflecting what you deserve. It is reflecting the level of devotion your soul is ready for. Do not let your doubt sabotage what destiny designed. If this message resonates, it is not by accident. Your spirit recognized these words before your mind did. That pressure in your chest. Confirmation. That quiet whisper saying, "This is for me." Confirmation. That sudden clarity about who this is speaking of. Confirmation. The heart is wiser than memory. The soul is wiser than logic. Trust what you feel. And now, the hook that changes everything. The moment they choose you will not be subtle. It will not be half-hearted. It will not be disguised as uncertainty. It will arrive like truth. It will show up like clarity. It will sound like, I can't keep pretending anymore. They will reach a point where silence feels like betrayal to themselves. And when that moment arrives, you will feel the shift. The air will change. The energy will thicken. The connection will rise to the surface. You will know. Before we close, listen to this. Your energy has already altered their life. Your presence has already impacted their growth. Your authenticity has already shown them what real love feels like. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are being realized. The pull they feel is not desire alone, it is destiny demanding recognition. Now, take a slow breath. Feel the weight of these words. Let them stay with you. And as this message settles into your spirit, remember this final truth. Someone is crazy in love with you, not because you tried to earn it, but because your soul made them remember what love is supposed to feel like. If this message felt personal, if it felt like it was speaking to you rather than at you, trust that feeling. Save this. Re-listen later. And if your intuition says this was meant for you, then you already know what to do next. If this touched you, if it awakened something, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, not for me, but to signal to the universe that you are ready for the next chapter.